Always nice having a hot mic. All right, guys, let's get this thing going. All right. Real world stuff here, guys. Real life stuff. I faked them out. All right, now here we are, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It is, of course, an exciting, wonderful, beautiful Monday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic time wherever you're tuning in from, guys. Of course, this is another Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Today is Monday. February the 11th, 2019. Foul year of our Lord. We made it, guys. Past the weekend, past the algorithmic trading that really dominates the weekend. And now we can look at the dominant price action and see what the next week is going to have in store for us. So let's, well, first let me introduce myself. If you are new to the channel, of course, I'm Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Make sure you guys go check out the website. And the first thing that we do got to talk about when we get over here, I guess, is, of course, this wonderful bit of information. Let me fix this. And boom, right there. All right, so, of course, we still do have the giveaway, guys. So if you head on over to CrackingCryptocurrency.com, there are still a few days left in the giveaway. There's going to be a pop-up that comes up when you visit the website. You can click on it. Whew, 285 entrants so far, guys. So thanks so much for participating. There's 4 days left in the giveaway. 4 days left in the giveaway. At the end of that giveaway, we are going to randomly pick a winner live on the air. 3 of them, actually. 3 winners that will each win 1 month of access to the premium trading group. They'll have access to the webinar series, all the signals and setups from our team of analysts and traders. So very much looking forward to trading with you guys. Don't bother, I'm winning anyway. Jasper, you are definitely, if I could manually select the winner, you'd be up there. But Gleam allows us to do it fairly transparently. So nice little software that we got going on here. Let's see here. Other than that, when this competition ends, when this giveaway ends, we will be giving away 5 masternodes worth of X42 coin. Proud supporters of the show, so make sure you guys go check out x42.tech. We'll be doing 5 masternode giveaway worth of them, and we'll run that for a month. Following that, we've got another proud supporter of the show, MMO Coin. I'll be giving away. Okay, now my memory's fading me. I can't remember if it's 25,000 or 10,000 coins. I can't remember right off the top of my nugget, but it's going to be one of those numbers. Sorry, I should have checked my notes. Very, very prepared, again, of course. All right, so that's about it for the giveaway stuff. Updates for the week. Working on the last version of my time transformation indicator. I fully upgraded it to version 3 in Pine, which required a line-by-line audit of the code because it did not like being in version 3. The only stickler that I'm having right now is an issue with the security function, which allows me to plot Heikinashi on different time frames. So other than that, it works quite fantastically, just as it did in V2. But I'd like to have it in version 3 so I can take advantage of the advanced syntax. Also simplifies the code a little bit. It makes it a little bit cleaner. But other than that, nothing has really changed in how it operates parametrically. So anyways, let's get over here and look at the charts, guys. All right. And the first thing that I want to point out today, actually, before we get started, let's go over here to vcdepth.io because there is some very interesting whack-a-noodlery going on vcdepth.io. Now, when we're looking for what we think is going to be when you want to filter out the noise of what's happening in the market, you have a few options available to you. You can use a Heikinashi chart, you can use a Renko chart, or you can look and make inferences from some underlying data metrics, right? Something like the market depth ratio. The market depth ratio is going to tell you whether there's more buyers or sellers in an asset. So when we're looking at vcdepth.io, what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that the top MDR overall is UDC, USDC, and PAX, meaning there is still a lot of profit flowing into stablecoins. However, if we look overall, if we look at the entire order book, what do we see here? We do see that Ethereum, Bitcoin, and more impressively Litecoin still remain very positively, still have very positive bullish order books. And this is the entire order book. So it does not help you determine where to enter because this is looking at the entire order book. But what we can do is look at the nearest 5% of price. And so within the nearest 5% of price, this is where we can speculate that perhaps these are buy walls that keep getting shifted down to lure people into buying. That's all speculation. So within 5% of price, we do see that Litecoin in particular and Bitcoin have quite high MDRs and significant MDR changes over the last 24 hours. If we take a look at the entire order book, we can see that overall Ethereum's MDR has gone down. Ripple's MDR has gone down. Of course, BitTorrent's MDR has gone down significantly. Tron's MDR is actually up 13.72, but its entire MDR is down 19.1%. So how can we trade this? What do these numbers mean? What does this mean for some of you who might be new to vcdepth.io? Well, typically, when something is bullish within 5% of price, when we have a high MDR and we have a significant 24-hour MDR change, we can be looking to speculatively. We can be looking to speculate on that asset, especially if we're trading the direction of the trend. So there are a lot of people that are really rushing to the farm right now to short Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't necessarily think that's the right move because we haven't gotten confirmation of a downtrend. I think it's going to be trapped. Now, while I do think that overall we're going to be moving into a bull trap, that's my personal opinion. I don't trade my opinion. That would be my analysis based on the patterns that I've seen and recognized in the past. So while I do think that what Bitcoin and Ethereum are headed for is a bull trap, I don't necessarily think we're there yet, and the MDR would seem to support my bias. So the most interestingly enough, the coin that I'm really looking at the most is going to be Litecoin. So we have an 8% price decline over the last 24 hours, but a very bullish looking order book. So actually, if we look right now, most impressively, I mean, we just see this, we just see a massive increase in buyers and a drastic decrease in sellers. I mean, right now, and this is updated every 30 minutes. So right now we have a combined order book across all exchanges of $32 million, 19.167 to the buy side, only 13 million to the sell side. meaning that the order books remain quite bullish for Litecoin. So I do not necessarily think that the top is in for Litecoin. So I'm not eager to enter into a short on Litecoin. Now I'm eager to enter into a short on Litecoin when when the trend has had confirmation of a shift, and also when the MDR has confirmed that we are going to be moving to the downside, because now there are more sellers than buyers. So while we do look at futures, while we do look at longs to shorts ratios to determine whether bullish bias is getting overconfident and we're likely to experience a local top or a local reversal, which is what we did see. When we're looking at actual spot price buying, this is very simple. If there's more demand, if there's more buying, if there's more buyers in the market, price will appreciate. If there's more sellers in the market, then price will depreciate. It's supply and demand. It's quite simple. Now, an argument can be made that, oh, this is spoofing, man. It's all spoofing, dude. You don't know they just moved those orders all the time. Like, that's one of the things that I don't like hearing, because, again, and this is one of those few things that you really only see in cryptocurrency, because you don't see this on regular exchanges. You don't see, like, spoofing on regular exchanges. You don't see buy walls on regular exchanges. And one reason why I'm not totally against forms of regulation. But... But that's all speculative, because every time somebody sees a buy wall, they just want to scream like that's a spoofed buy wall. Well, you can't infer that. You can't assume that. You don't know. You don't know. And especially when you see a buy wall with, I don't know, let's say $6 million, behind it, you do kind of have to give it the benefit of the doubt. So we'll take that for what it's worth. We'll go check in on CoinFarmOnline real quick. And just get a general overview of what's going on with Bitcoin. We don't have any aggressiveness to the longs or the short sides. Price still overall kind of meandering between the aggressiveness of longs entering and shorts entering. So nothing really that we can correlate from there. The big thing that I do want to see is Bitcoin margin trading sentiment. While we're waiting, how are you guys doing? How was your weekend? Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Spent a lot of time with the family. It was a good time. Relaxed. All right, cool. Kicked out. Here we go. All right, so we do see bull income quite high. Now, remember what we talked about. When we do see, typically when we see one position or the other become profitable, we often see a market reversal. As we can see here, we had bulls in profitable positions right here, and the market reversed. Here we had bears in profitable positions, and the market reversed to the upside. And then we had a spike in bearish profitability right here. What happens? Bears take profit. How do bears take profit? They take profit by covering, if we're talking about futures positions, and the price moved to the upside. Very clear to see. So what do we see now? We see very clear bullish income. I don't really see a drastic dip in that, so we can infer from this that we are in a potential for price to experience a short-term reversal. But that's not going to congruent with some of my later analysis. So take this with a grain of salt. Okay, so we've gone over the fact that according to VCDepth.io, if we actually look at Tether's pretty interesting. So we actually see a decrease in the price of Tether, or a decrease in its MDR. And if we look at the nearest 5%, we can actually see a massive decrease in the price of Tether, meaning that within 5% of Tether's price, so short-term trading, lots of money is flowing out of Tether to purchase other coins. In this case, looking like it is Litecoin, looking like it is Bitcoin, and looking like it is Tron in the short term. However, the overall market depth ratio for USDT is only about 3%. So more drastic in the short term. So when we're looking for short-term trading, we can use that nearest 5% feature to get clear indications of what's going on. All right. So let's go over to the chart. So what that has established for me is that I'm starting off with a bias that the order books are stacked more to the long side than to the short side currently, or there's more in favor of further price appreciation than more in favor of entering into a bearish trend. Now that can change, but right now it hasn't. So therefore I have to do something very simple. I have to throw all the noise out of my mind and just simply tell myself, okay, listen, we seem to be in a short-term bullish trend in an overall ranging market environment. Therefore, I am going to trade with the trend until I get confirmation that the trend has reversed. So let's start off as we normally do. With Bitcoin. Now, looking at the BitMEX chart here, we are range bound on the 24-hour time frame, stuck in between the 21 exponential moving average and the 55 exponential moving average. Now, keep in mind that Bitcoin has been unable to successfully close convincingly above the 55 exponential moving average since August, actually, excuse me. We poked our head briefly above there a couple times in September, and then right there again in November, right before the significant price depreciation, which brought us down to current lows. So this is a fairly significant area. So seeing that we're in close proximity to this resistance level right here, the 55 daily exponential moving average, my current plan right now is to look at a breakage of the 21 exponential moving average as confirmation that the rally has failed and we are moving on a further decline. If that should happen, I will be entering into positional shorts and looking at my further downside targets. Should we, however, hold the daily 21 exponential moving average, I will look at this range of consolidation as further signs that we're going to get another leg up. And I'll look to take profits as we enter into my optimum shorting zone. Remember, we talked about this exact same thing back over here previously. That we do have our weekly equilibrium block coming in right around here. We can see that clearly on the Bitstamp chart. All right, so Bitstamp chart makes things a little bit clearer. We do have that weekly equilibrium resistance order block right there. And we also have the diagonal resistance trend line that we have been unable to close above, as well as the 55 exponential moving average. Now, the 55 exponential moving average was not tested when Bitcoin rallied previously. And again, remember, I had that red sign there. Everybody wondered what that was for. Well, because we were entering into my optimum shorting area. We have the resistance trend line moving to the downside. We have the weekly bearish order block. We had at that point the 55 exponential moving average. So logic would suggest that this is an area where we consider putting on shorts from. However, I'm not going to be doing that because I'm going to trade in the direction of the underlying trend. Right now, if we look at the daily Heikin-Ashi trend, the daily Heikin-Ashi has not yet flipped to the downside. So when you're looking to filter noise out of your head, simply throw on Heikin-Ashi, simply throw on something like Renko, and all that noise just washes away. Yes, is this an attractive price to short from? Of course it is. And a lot of people are rushing to short there, but I have to look at that. I have to measure that against what the order books look like and against what the technicals tell me, and look at this as an opportunity for further upside. So I am going to take that. I am going to take that play to the upside. Now, not in a position currently on BTC. What I would like to see is I'd like to see price come down and retest that daily 21 exponential moving average. So right around 35.50, 35.60 is where I'd really like. That's where I currently have buy set on the order book. So nothing's going to change on that. I'm going to look for those opportunities to accumulate my BTC long position. Now, should the daily close below the 21 exponential moving average, I will enter into my positional short, and we'll be talking about a different story. We'll be talking about further downside targets, because if that does happen, let's actually turn off the moving averages so we can get a little bit of a clearer sign here on the daily chart. If that does happen, I want to point out this area of 33.90. It's actually 34.13 for some reason on my chart, but should be, we talked about it on Bitcoin for quite a while. So yeah, 33.90 on the BTC chart. That high volume node that I was talking about could act as potential support, but if it did act as support, I said, if we did spring from here, I was very speculative about price actually being able to break through. So I began looking at this zone right here between the 55 and the diagonal trend line as my optimum shorting zone. Now, based on the order books, I do think that we can get another leg up, especially looking at something like Litecoin, which seems to be kind of leading the charge. So, as long as we're holding the daily 21 exponential moving average, I will still look to take this to the upside. I'm going to look to position myself at a retest of the 21 exponential moving average. I'm seeing lots of different numbers out there, and this is why I don't pay attention to other people's analysis, like 34, 45. I'm hearing that number a lot of places, so I just have to put that all out of my mind and be eager to short. Of course, I'm eager to short, but you know, the the risk to reward is not there for me yet. I like to wait for confirmation, and that'll allow me to feel much more confident about the position that I'm going to take. Again, there's nothing, if you have a good trade on the table, there's nothing that's going to hurt you except for anxiety that you're going to do. You're going to pay less in anxiety. You might pay a premium on price, for example, if you're taking a trade to the upside and you wait for long confirmation, but you're going to pay less in anxiety. A lot of people are really obsessed with catching the tops and bottoms of trading. Very few people do that successfully. And to be a counter trend trader, I don't see a lot of people who specialize in counter trend trading successfully trade for long periods of time. The reason being is because it only takes a few bad trades to wipe out your account. Generally, trend trading strategies are the most profitable strategies to trade. It does not hurt to adopt a range-bound strategy and trade the range, which again, if we take the longer-term picture of Bitcoin, guys, we are still range-bound between 4,200 and 3,100. So nothing has changed until one of those levels break. And until we break those levels, we're just trading the range. So the question really becomes here, what is going to be the determining dominant resistance level here? The 55 exponential moving average on the daily time frame or the diagonal resistance trend line? That's really all we're looking at. We can, of course, see, we haven't seen it yet, we haven't seen a wick above the diagonal resistance trend line. And often I find that the strongest trades are to be taken off the third touch of the diagonal resistance trend line. So that would have been this trade where we did get the strongest reaction. The reason that I find that's converse is because most people will tell you that it takes 3 touches on a trend line to confirm that you have a trend line. So you would expect to get the strongest trade off of the fourth. That's not always the case, because remember, the more times that you touch resistance, the more times you weaken them. So I'm approaching this chart with an open mind. Will I still be looking to layer on my shorts in this zone? Yes, I will. Am I going to be deaf, dumb, and blind to the fact that liquidity can come in at the top of a market, even though I truly do think that if we do break the diagonal resistance trend line, we will be entering into a bull trap. Of course, that nobody can tell you how high or how low the bull trap can be. Of course, everybody has their eyes kind of set on 5,000, 5,500. I'd be surprised if we actually made it up that high if we were to break. I'd actually be keeping my eyes on anywhere between 4,250 and 5,000. Be looking for the potentials of a reversal at that point in time. But anything can happen. I'll just take the trade as it comes and trade on the direction of the underlying trend, which right now is currently to the upside. So a lot of people rushing into short Bitcoin right now today, and I don't really see that. Of course, short-term scalps are always on the table, but I prefer to position myself on the direction of the underlying trend. If we go down to the hourly, I mean, time transformation just timed this absolutely perfectly. Hourly chart on Bitcoin right here gave us the buy signal right here. We do flip to the bullish trend right here, and it tells us to be out of the market here. We haven't gotten any confirmations to be back or position ourselves back into our long. So the area, again, that I'm really looking at, and if we look at the 4-hour chart, I mean, everything looks quite nice. So I'm going to hold myself open for a potential retest of 3550. It seems like a logical area to enter to me, 3550 to 3560. If the daily does close below the 21 exponential moving average, then I'll be exiting my long position and looking at this as a failure, as a confirmed rejection from the 55 EMA. But right now, I'm just keeping my mind open and looking for price to tell me what price is going to do. Is price going to react supremely negatively off the 55 exponential moving average? It already has, but is it going to be fully rejected in a strong determining way from the 55 exponential moving average? Or are we just going to have a healthy pullback, retest the 21 in the breakout zone, and continue on for another $200 move? Interesting. Okay, cool. don't know what's up with the
It's over 9,000.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Oh, interesting. So sorry guys, I was looking at the old chat. For some reason it must have like kicked out or something. Sorry guys. I didn't even have the chart open, or not the chart open, but the chat open. Sorry about that, guys. I was sitting here wondering, like, man, why is the chat not scrolling? Usually we get a little bit more activity, but I don't know. My stream must have like died on me and then opened up another stream. That's weird. Anyways, guys. So let me say good morning to everybody in the chat. Jasper, what's going on, man? Rick D99, Red Eyed Monk. Quinn Barry, hey man, thank you so much. I hope you had a good weekend as well. Herbert Garcia, Xantimus Crypto, what's going on, man? Herbert Garcia, pick my name, please. Hey, the algorithm will pick the name, man. Light Yagami. Yes, Kira, yes. Hey, Rules the Worlds. Hey, thanks so much, man. I highly appreciate that. Hey, Podnuts, what's going on, man? Ross Griffiths, what are my credentials? Well, I have a degree from college, and I've been trading for quite a long time. But no, not your button down. This is not your button down suit and tie Charles Schwab technical analysis channel. No, man. This is real world stuff. Red Skull, hey, what's going on, man? Little Deedle. Thanks for the gnoming, man. I appreciate that. Ooh, nice, man. You got your Boogie Mark 4, and that's what's up, dude. Will the BTT airdrop show up on your Binance balance page automatically? Yeah. Probably shortly followed by a negative account balance. Adam Pragnell, that is not that's not correct, man. Don't really like you trying to shill stuff that we do not approve in the chat, man. All right. Hey, what's going on, Daniel Clerks? All right. So yeah, pretty much, man. My stream crashed after 4 minutes. Well, thanks for telling me, man. Nobody tells me anything. I'm just sitting here prattling away. Good thing I was still alive. Oh, jeez, dude. K7 Jixer, we finally agree on something. Oh, crap, man. The stars are aligned. Is buying BNB right now dumb? I think like now is. We'll go take a look at it. VC depth will help clear many doubts. But before we do that, sorry, I don't want to get distracted. So I just want to make sure I summarize here what my battle plan is for BTC, and I posted this last night in the members lounge. My battle plan currently is I've got some buy orders set at 35.50, 35.60. I'll keep my eye open for price. Really, I know the intelligent thing to do is to monitor price and have my alerts set and just wait very patiently for the right entry. So I do think that we have the potential to dip a little bit lower. I'm not really eager to short this. I know a lot of people, like every time, like I've seen, people that I talk to, they're like, "Hey, man, it's about to drop, dude. I'm going in for a short." Then they just get wiped out. So just be patient, guys. Hey, what's going on? I'm going to mispronounce that on purpose, but Sperman and Cell. Thanks so much for the follow on Twitch, my friend. You guys are crazy, man. Yeah, so let's actually look at the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart might help clear some of this up for us a little bit. So essentially the upper end of this zone right here is where I'd like to be establishing my long position. So get a nice healthy pullback. The reason that I got my buy order set there is because if we do just wick down, then I do want to be able to catch that price. But again, I'll be managing risk, looking at the daily close, looking at how the daily closes. If we do close below the 21 exponential moving average, I will be out of the trade. Until further notice, because I'm not very certain that now, and again, it's 34.14 on my chart, and the reason for that must be because I'm just lining up the HVN on my chart. Yeah. So the $3,400 area has already been bought up. This level of support's already been bought up by the bulls once, twice. The odds that it gets bought up a second time, unlikely. What I do want to see is an SR flip. So potentially could go low as 3,500, but again, I'll be out of the trade at that point in time because we'll no longer be trading in the dominant trend, and then I'll be looking for a reversal on the lower time frames to re-enter. So that's pretty much how I trade. All right, so moving on to Ethereum. What do I think about that Litecoin wick? A stop out to get longs out of a trade. Could that be interpreted as a bullish sign? We're going to do Litecoin here in just a sec, bro. All right, so daily Ethereum. So I've kind of got some ideas here set up for Ethereum. So the exact same thing as well. Looking at how prices react into the 55 exponential moving average. Now, the last time, and something that I did want to point out too, this is very interesting. If we look here on the daily chart for Bitcoin, MEX, if we look at what happened, actually, no, sorry, Ethereum's where I want to point this out the most poignantly. If we look at the last time that price interacted between the 21 and the 55, we did have about 3 days, or excuse me, about 9 days of pretty much upside momentum, but then the pullback before we actually were able to break above the 55, and that gave us another pretty significant move to the upside to test the 100 daily. So that was about almost a 20% movement. So we got another 20% movement off that. Now, I'm looking to see what happens now that we've broken the 21 exponential moving average and are reacting negatively from the 55 exponential moving average. Now, currently, price is reacting negatively off the 55 exponential moving average, which you would expect after about 3 good, nice days of upside. You would just expect that. You would expect to see a day of pullback. Now, the area that I'm watching fairly closely on my chart is the area between 114 and 115. Pretty much my battle plan right now has been to establish a long position from 120 to 115, pretty much spacing buys at $1 intervals. If the daily closes below 114, I'll most likely be out of the trade until I get a reversal signal on the lower time frames, and then I'll look to speculatively take that, but then I'll do that with a trailing stop loss, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, that's when I'm taking reversal signals, I enter when I get a strong, like a reversal signal like this, for example, right? I get a reversal signal like this, I enter, I'll have a trailing stop that's fairly tight until the trend turns bullish, and then I pyramid into a larger position. In this particular case, we would have gotten secondary confirmation on the daily chart for Ethereum right here, because we did get regular divergence, and our indicator tells us this as well. So we get a buy signal here, followed up by a lower low and a wick down to support, a double tap off support, and regular bullish divergence. So what I do really like is that we did get the clear indications to be in the long the day prior, because we had a double tap of resistance, we had an oversold buy signal right here, and then we had bullish divergence. So plenty of indications on the daily chart to be in your trade. And then, of course, the trend does turn bullish there. And it also turns the hourly gave you a ton of entry signals as well. So the hourly would have given you your entry signal right here. No, I don't understand. You're not going to be using a stop loss this tight. I mean, your stop loss is going to be down here at around support, entering around 102, 103. And then you close above the 21 exponential moving average. You close above your 55, your 100. I mean, your Heikinashi trend goes bullish. You're in the trade. And then you get 3 opportunities to sell pretty much right at the top. So, excellent. ZERP. Yeah, we'll look at ZERP, man. So pretty much, yeah, the same established battle plan for Ethereum. I'm not really in a rush to short Ethereum. My next potential targets are going to be 128, 128 and 140 for Ethereum if we do end up breaking to the upside. If, however, we do end up rejecting from here, then I do have some pretty significant downside targets projected. Again, closing below the 20 exponential moving average, I will look to open up my positional short. And I feel fairly confident about that because the R is bueno. So these are just simply fib measurements of the equilibrium swing. So measuring from previous swing high to previous swing high to current swing high. If this is a swing high, then that fib measurement will be valid, and that does point us down to an initial target of around $90, and then 70, and then 55. I will be adding to my position at these green lines as well. So closure below 114, 115. I'll be entering into a directional short position. Closure below $99, $100. I'll be entering into another positional. I'll be pyramiding into my positional short as well. We will be looking at this area around the $90, $88, $90 level to initially take profit is my plan. If we, however, end up closing below that, I won't be taking profit. I will be adding more to my position. Same thing with the $80 area. And then this zone right here is where I look to take profit and where I think we will see eventually $50 Bitcoin. Whether we reject from here or whether we reject from here. All right, so that's the battle plan for Ethereum. Still looking to take more furthered upside, but not in a position. Actually, yes, small position, yes, because I have been scaling in. So I got an initial fill pretty much at all these dollar intervals. So we do see that the daily price did wick down to 115.05. So pretty much fully filled. And so we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted. All right, so Litecoin, EOS is what I want to look at. LTC. Let's look at Litecoin. All right, so we'll look at the weekly as the first thing that I want to look at, and we'll go ahead and disable time transformation for the purposes of this. So, weekly time frame. We haven't really had a 55 exponential moving average for a while, but kind of the same idea here. On the weekly time frame, we looked at the order books earlier. We looked at the VC depth. So buying the pullback would seem to make sense. We don't know how significant or how hard that pullback is going to be. Obviously, the significant level that I'd be keeping my eye on is seeing how price reacts to the 55 weekly exponential moving average that is coming around 109.9120. So this level right here would seem to make sense. The other level that would make sense is an SR flip to look at an entry around 99.78. So pretty much that 0.01 area is of significant interest, but we're talking about a wide gap there if we're trading on the weekly time frame. Our next resistance level is not really coming in till about 0.015. So your R there is quite nice. So that's another 40% to the upside. That's just your next significant level of resistance on the weekly time frame. That's where your VPVR starts. That's where your high volume node begins. On your previous breakdown zone, guys. And you don't have a whole lot. You don't have a whole lot in between here. So would not be entering into a position yet on LTC BTC to take this to the upside. Let's look at, look at the 3-day. All right, 3-day, giving you a pretty significant evening star pattern, which is a classical candlestick reversal pattern. So for the 3-day chart, we actually see the exact same thing. What's our next level? What's our next dip that we could expect to buy? About that 0.01 or 99 level, as we talked about earlier. That's that SR flip on the 3-day chart. So that's about 12% to the downside, 12% down below us, is the area we would be looking to reaccumulate if we wanted to take it back to the upside. 24-hour chart. '24-hour chart basically gives us the same area. Retest of the 21 exponential, that's coming around 0.1. So right, that nice round psychological number, 0.1. We've also got that 200 exponential moving average on the daily chart coming in around 9.5, depending on how quickly it takes us to get down there. that'll be curling up. That'll be curling up actually quickly. And we are looking at potentially getting, if price can stay above 0.01 for a while, we are looking at potentially getting the golden cross. So yeah, am I rushing in to buy Litecoin right now? No. But am I looking at areas that I do want to be re-entering for long positions? Yes. Yes, this area down here. So depending on how price reacts, depending on how the daily candle closes, potentially looking to enter into my short. Why am I not yet? Because, and the daily is actually giving us a sell signal, because the daily trend hasn't shifted. So let's go look at LTC USDT. And we're talking about the asset that I'd actually be willing to trade. I don't like trading Bitcoin pairs too much. I like trading USDT pairs because it allows me to manage my risk. So same thing here on the daily chart. We're kind of looking at this area for an SR flip and also supporting the 100 exponential moving average right here. So we do have an entry range of around 6%. So what does that mean? You don't set limit orders. You wait for the market to reverse in your favor. You wait for the market to reverse in your favor. And conversely, looking at the upside potential here on LTC USDT, really next resistance zone coming in here, confluence with our 200 daily period exponential moving average and the previous resistance zone as well, high volume nodes. So around $53, that's just a rough estimate. So I do always like to front run the HVN when I'm looking at take profit targets. So again, same thing, about another 30 to 40% to the upside. Now, let's see what we got here. Weekly chart. Yeah, weekly chart is interesting as well. Reaction from the 21 exponential moving average, which we haven't seen. So the only area that we can target is the area that I've targeted for an SR flip right here. So that zone coming in around $38 to $41. Now that's a wide zone. That's why you can't just set limit orders there. You have to wait to see how price reacts to that area. 3-day chart as well, getting the same evening star candle pattern. 3-day chart does have support for us.
It's over 9,000.
Yep, 3-day does have that first level of potential support coming in around $38. Which would be the SR flip and giving us that same zone on the weekly as well. Hey, thanks so much for the subs on YouTube, guys. Highly appreciated. And the same thing. So this is the this is the SR flip zone potential from the weekly chart. So between 41.51 and 38.71 is an area I'd be looking to keep my eyes on. If the daily closes below the 100 here and closes below the SR flip, then we have to reevaluate the situation. Which, if you're looking for confirmation before entering into a long position and not trying to catch falling knives, you'll be doing well off of. All right, so XRP. Now, as I posted in the members lounge last night, looking like I am potentially going to get my way with XRP. Looking like I am potentially going to get my way with XRP. Again, I had cheeky buy order set around 80.57. I really wanted price to come down to the weekly 55 exponential moving average. It has not yet. The weekly is still holding on with very weak momentum on the 21 exponential moving average. So I do kind of have to respect that for the time being. Not looking to rush in and take a long position because I do want to see a bullish reaction from that level. But I'm really eager for this to start trading underneath and to take a position down to 80.50. Ideally, I'd really like price to go down to 7,500, but I'll be patient and wait. If we don't hold up to 55, then I'll just again pyramid into a larger position and target 75. But right now I'm just waiting. 3-day chart on XRP. 3-day chart on XRP, similar kind of scenario. 55 exponential moving average, moving down on lowering momentum, lowering volume as well. Don't have any indications to be in a position yet, but if we do bottom here, then we will have seen a little bit of, then we will have seen bullish divergence on the 3-day chart. And a similar thing for the daily chart as well. If we do end up bottoming here, we will have seen bullish divergence as well on the daily time frame. So we'll wait to see how that happens. So too many levels. What I guess what I'm trying to say with ZERP is that I'm eager to look for a trade to the downside. I'm eager to look for a trade to the downside currently. But price is just coming up on too many supports. Price is coming up on too many supports to preemptively short support. Again, I don't short support. I look to short resistance, and I look to long support. So again, waiting for some kind of bullish reaction on a higher time frame to give me some indication that I should be buying this. If we go down to the hourly chart, yeah, if we go down to the hourly chart, no reason for me to be in this trade yet whatsoever. Still have not flipped even on the hourly to the bullish trend. Crazy World Videos, thank you so much, man. All right, let's see here. 1248, we've done. Yeah, so I just have no I have no indications to be in ZERP right now. Hourly gave us the buy signal right here, right at the bottom. The daily trend didn't flip. We would have gone to the 4-hour to look for a little bit of confirmation for that. We didn't get a buy signal on the 4-hour chart. We were just slightly above the, we would have got it right here actually, potentially, if we would have adjusted our oversold levels, which we could have. That's one of the nice things about this. But let's see here. Hard to see because of this. So actually, let's disable. Yeah. But 4-hour chart as well, still being governed by the 21 exponential moving average. Hourly chart still potentially being governed by the exponential moving average. We'll see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. Mainly keeping my eyes on those higher time frames. Coming down to too many levels of support for me to want to enter into a short right now. I mean, realistically, if I want to be honest about my analysis, these are areas where I would be looking to put on a long. But am I so wrong that I want price to come down lower? Just want price to come down to 8,000. And again, I talked about ultimate goals. There we go. Ultimate goals for Ripple being 00014. So we shall see what happens, guys. Not in a position currently on Ripple. I don't see a reason to be. And you guys can see the levels that I've got scaled up for weekly closures above to start scaling into a higher long position. I'm comfortable with ZERP and Litecoin all decoupling from Bitcoin, but Ethereum won't. I'm quite happy to trade these independently, actually. Yeah, backed being delayed doesn't matter. And the ETF doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters, guys. I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I was just taught to never look at news as the justification for why something happened. You know, like everybody's quick to say, like, why did Litecoin pump? Oh, because they're adding Mimblewimble. No, it pumped because there were more buyers than sellers. I'll leave news justification events to other people. And again, that's not to say that they're wrong. It's just that as a technician, I can't. Looking at a 20 pixel screen, kind of hard to see. Can LTC go to $69 soon or first downside? 69 bucks. Let me see if I can find some kind of bias that justifies that. Well, if we look at the next, the only other exponential we have on the weekly time frame, it's going to be $95. If we look at our VPVR, we really have, I mean, we're coming up on our resistance zone right here. Weekly time frame resistance zone. So this was a previous breakdown area, an area that we would look to act as resistance on the weekly time frame. Pretty large area, obviously spanning from 54 to 58 bucks. Slightly above that as well. If you guys like to use previous resistance as current resistance, I don't. I like to use previous support as resistance, and then once we break through, I look for that to become a floor, and then I expect us to tap, 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 and then eventually push through. That's just my experience. We also have, obviously, our next area coming in here on the volume profile. Let's see if I can be logically consistent in how I draw that. $75 to $79 would be the next zone of contention. Getting above that, though, man, you don't really have a lot. You don't really have a lot until 110 based off price action, and around $196 based off exponentials on the highest time frame. We can look at the monthly if you want, but I don't find that looking at the monthly gives you a lot of actionable data. This is pretty much all you need. Price underneath the 21 weekly exponential moving average. Are we going to open and close a weekly candle above the 21 exponential moving average? Don't know yet. We've closed one, but we need to open and close. We need to open and close for a confirmed kill. So that's what everybody's kind of waiting on. So until, after we've seen a significant, I mean, just look at the chart. I mean, it looks very, 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 very different from anything we've seen before, guys. We haven't really, except for back in April of 2018, we haven't really slow walked our way down, seemed to find a bottom, and then come up to test resistance. We haven't done that before, guys, for Litecoin. So I'm gonna give old Daddy Litecoin the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see what happens when price interacts with this area. Like again, am I gonna rush out to buy Litecoin right now? Nope. We took Litecoin to the long side, and we're very, very pleased that it went so high and so far. Very, very pleased with that. Oh no, the 100. So you guys are funny.
It's over 9,000!
Hey, thanks so much, Amy. Appreciate the sub on YouTube. So yeah, I'm going to trade in the direction of the underlying trend and wait to see signs of reversal off this latest dip. And we can go down to the 24-hour chart. Again, 3-day clearly tells us to be out of our long position right now. 3-day clearly tells us to be out of our long position right now. And we'll wait, establish how significant the pullback will be, whether the pullback is the initiation of a fresh downtrend or whether the pullback is an initiation of a pullback to a healthy uptrend. No, I don't think so, Nicholas. I'd really like to think so, but if we just go back and if I remain logically consistent with what I've been saying about Bitcoin for a while, I said that if we did get a reaction off 3390, that we did have the potential to go as high as the 55 EMA or the resistance trend line. I was very speculative about the fact that if we bounced from 3390, which is the level of support I've had on my chart for a while, that we would be able to actually break resistance because there's not enough liquidity there. Now, liquidity can come in at the top of the market. If that happens, though, I feel that we're going to be headed for a fairly significant bull trap. I think that we'll have trouble making it over the 200 on the weekly time frame. Again, that's 5,000, so that's fine. I think that bull trap could come anywhere in between there. But if we are able to tap into liquidity below first, then I'll feel pretty strongly about being able to move to the upside and that we've seen a bottom. I don't think this is the bottom, man. I really don't. It's not the same. It's not the same. And if we go to the long-term price analysis of Bitcoin, I do have my target around $23.31, $23.31, $23.31.36. $2,331.36 is actually my ultimate downside target for Bitcoin. Especially if we close a weekly candle below 3K. Now, it's a potential that we wick down. I've talked about this kind of ad nauseum. That it's going to depend on the manner in which we go below 3K. We're going to go below 3K, but it's the manner in which we do. Do we volatilely wick down below 3K and end up closing the weekly or even the daily back close to 3,000? Then I become pretty bullish, pretty goddamn bullish, and I'd be fairly confident to say that we've probably found the bottom. Do we close the weekly candle significantly below 3K? Then likely we're going to slow walk our way down to 2,300, accumulate there sideways in between 2,000, 2,300. But I think I don't think we're going to go below 2,000. Seems very unlikely to me. And then from there, from that accumulation area, which would probably last until August if that happened, potentially even longer. And then start making our way back upwards and be back in an established bull trend. But that's all speculation, guys. I'll just trade what the chart show me for the meantime. Hey, what's going on, Math Tutor? Thanks, man. No. That's definitely not what I said. Subai. Definitely not what I said. Sorry. I guess it's the timing in which you hear stuff. Math Tutor says, did I see the CME social sentiment trend recently? No, I didn't. Was it bearish? Okay, so we went over ZERP. No position on ZERP. Waiting on Litecoin. Established a position in Ethereum. Waiting on Bitcoin. Took I'm looking at taking a stab on Cardano. we'll wait and see on that one. I am in a couple more positions, but we won't talk about those right now. BTC S scored double bottomed at -2 yesterday and now is slightly positive. What is it that was just that got a really high rating on the Weiss ratings? And I've kind of avoided that stuff like the plague, but you know, there are some people that look at that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I do prefer to look at the fear and greed index. Binance Bucks, new all-time high in Bitcoin. How to know where to sell? You set a trailing stop, man. Depends on where you bought. You know, if you try to sell the top, you're likely to fail. You trade the trend, man. Just hold on tight, dude. You know, set a trailing stop, you know, at an appropriate level of profit. You know, you can sell and buy pullbacks. Why do I say this could not be the bottom and it's not the same? 200 weekly moving average holding as continued support. Why not? Well, because it's only been tested twice. The upside potential has been tested a couple times, and I really haven't seen the kind of capitulation that I'd like to see. I don't think enough liquidity has been tapped into to move us to the upside, man. I think that longs are still too long. I think that I don't think enough people have let go. I don't think enough people have gotten shook out. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I maintain an open mind about the market. But we do look drastically different to what we saw back in 2015. We can go look if you want. So if we go look back in when we did bottom in 2015, we saw this, and this is the weekly time frame. We saw this, where price did in one candle. Turn off magna mode. Price did in one candle move down 44%. In 1 week, 44% in 1 week. And then price never came close to that. Price never came close to that low again. Price never came within 22% of that low. Look at, conversely, look at what's happened over here. Bitcoin did move down 37% on a candle, but then we went lower and then we just hanged out. And then we came about 5% within price. I mean, could it happen? Possibly, potentially, could be, maybe, yes. But I just don't think it's likely, man. I just don't think it's likely. The weekly is holding as the weekly 200 simple is holding as well as the weekly 200 exponential is for resistance. So we'll see which one breaks first, man. Until then, I mean, we're just range bound. So until a weekly opens and closes here, until a weekly opens and closes here, we're just range bound, man. So I'll trade the range. As we get closer to resistance, I'll put on shorts. We get close to support. Actually, as we approach support, I'm going to stay in my short position until I get confirmation that we're actually reversing to the upside, because the dominant trend is still to the bear side. And the R to R, I mean, the R to R for even if we just wick down, I went in on that trade. I don't want to be in a long position here and then see capitulation. Do I use the Fibbo spiral? Nah, man. No, I mean, we don't have to see that kind of capitulation. Of course not, man. But until I see confirmation that we're going to break resistance, you know what I mean? I'm going to be overall biased to the downside, man. Like, we haven't done anything, dude. Like, we just haven't done anything. That's why I honestly, I prefer trading Ethereum. Yeah, I agree with you, K7. Would I trade for more fiat or more Bitcoin in a bull market? Well, you know, nah, you're not an idiot, dude. Way to log in and flash your IP there, bro. Let's see here. You know who you are. Anyways, no, man, capitulation isn't necessary. But like I said, until I see us do something else, and I do agree with you, K7. We're in a very different market now. Very, much more people trading, many more people trading. I'm sure I'll find the right grammar there in a second. But to answer your question, Subai, would I trade for more fiat or more Bitcoin in a bull market? You know, when I started trading altcoins, I told myself that I was doing this to accumulate Bitcoin. And then it became very profitable. And then I saw the signs of the bear market oncoming. And then I reverted to my original ideas of capital preservation. Ideally, hopefully they'll work in tandem. Hopefully those concepts would work in tandem, because listen, I do fundamentally have faith in Bitcoin's ability to revolutionize finance. I do. But until then, I pay my bills in Bitcoin, or excuse me, I pay my bills in USD. And while I'm very, very supportive of the community and very supportive of individuals who are trying to live just off Bitcoin, and I know that that's a very positive and viable thing, you know, I'm still, I'm still self-employed. I own my own business. I have children. I have to be concerned with my capital preservation and earning more money, because I'm going to assume that one day I'll be able to send my kids to college and pay for it with Bitcoin. But right now I can't do that. So ideally, I'll be looking to be an investor in Bitcoin, as I have always been. But with the potential to not be married to my investment. Yeah, we'll take a look at EOS, man. Do I think we could bottom in February or March? We could. I've seen a lot of people say that they think we're going to start moving up in August. It's just words. It's just stuff thrown out. None of those words mean no. I mean, no offense, but none of those words mean anything. Like, when you're looking for, analysis is helpful for establishing directional bias. When you're looking at trading, like when to click the button, it's just if this then that strategy, man. No, it's that's the wrong H&M, Scott. It's not H&M clothing. It's actually another H&M that sells decorative lighting. They now accept cryptocurrency. I think question is if the selling trend has been retail sellers. I think evidence points to it being a small group of high volume sellers. Would indicate major capitulation not coming unless large holders keep dumping. Maybe they are done. Well, here's the thing, man. It's the people with the larger pocketbooks that move the market, and then everybody else just kind of piles in and tries to nibble. I don't think we've tapped into enough liquidity to fully move to the upside. Tonebase said yesterday we could be in this bear until 2023, 2025. I don't know. Listen, I don't like to talk negatively about people, but I'm pretty sure Tonebase tried to buy every single dip. Tried to buy like every single dip on the way down. And now he's saying we're going to be in this bear market for years. It could be. I mean, that's a potential, guys. We've still got a lot of room to go, man. We still have unregistered securities trading on unregistered exchanges. You know, Jake Chervinsky made a fantastic tweet earlier, man. Crypto's got a long way to go before it's ready for prime time. And backed in ETF is just the first step. So I would be lying to you if I sat here and tried to give you, you know, like that's just what people do to make you think that they're smarter than you, you know? Just because I'm a profitable trader doesn't necessarily mean I'm smarter than you or that I know any better than you what's going to happen next. I just know I have if this then that trading strategy, and I've cultivated that over years. Tone deaf. You guys are funny. Nah, man, I don't cast aspersions on people, man. I respect Tone for what he's done for the community. Let's see here. Okay, so we got some requests. EOS and GoChain. Yeah, we'll look at EOS. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is look at previous 10, EOS right here. So within 5% of price, we do have a negative 15.25% change in the market depth ratio. So currently the MDR is flat, slightly to the bull side. Overall MDR on EOS is down 1.62 in the last 24 hours. And overall the market depth ratio is negative, which means EOS is no longer something that I want to look to be long on. EOS is now potentially something that I want to be short on. So let's go to the weekly time frame on Binance. Weekly time frame on Binance, kind of interesting. So interaction with the weekly 21 exponential moving average. So does have the potential to kick you right in the face here. Now it is on the daily, on the 3-day, and on the weekly time frame because the weekly just started. And the 3 days is going to be over tomorrow. It is a hanging man candle. Which is typically a reversal pattern. When you see a hanging man, when you see what looks to be a hammer, at the top of an uptrend, typically as a reversal pattern, typically as a reversal sign. So what do we need to see? We need to see this weekly hold above the 21 exponential moving average. And that's like a lot of time to sit and wait. The 3-day, we are seeing interactions with this zone, the 55 exponential and the 100 exponential, coming up on this previous level of resistance that I had talked about right here. So we see areas of liquidity act as profit-taking targets. So as we see here, my profit-taking target for EOS was 76.17 on Binance. We're coming into that area, and on the 3-day, getting interactions from the 55 exponential moving average. And unlike Litecoin, we're seeing the MDR kind of dry up. We're seeing the buy volume get removed from the order books. Now this can change on a dime. But if we go back to vcdepth.io and look at EOS, yeah. So hopefully you guys can see there, we are seeing the sell volume kind of flatten out. Now open interest is still quite high. So I'm not looking to necessarily, how do I put this? How can I make this make sense? Rising open interest in an asset that is coming up upon significant areas of resistance is not itself looking bullish at the moment. And is actually looking bearish at the moment. So kind of the same area. Now EOS, based on those metrics, is the only thing that I'd be willing to short on the futures at this point in time, to take a speculative short on the futures. On Binance, you're just waiting to see the pullback, and I mean, in my eyes, you're definitely taking profit at this point in time. Or you're trading the trend, or you're understanding that you're going to be missing out on profit, but you have the potential to capture a larger movement. You're updating your stop loss as you go along, and you're looking for signs of trend reversal before you take it to the downside. What are signs of trend reversal? Let's assume that you don't have time transformation. So we'll take this bad boy off. All right, so let's look at the weekly Heikinashi. Weekly Heikinashi is bullish. 3-day Heikinashi is bullish. 24 Heikinashi is bullish. You trade in the direction of the trend. You don't trade. You don't counter trend trade the trend. I mean, this makes life a lot simpler, guys. This is like my first and most simplest, I guess, trading tool. Stop looking at goddamn Japanese candlesticks, dude. Only look at Japanese candlesticks for entries and exits. Otherwise, stick to Ikanashi and Renko. Straighten your glasses once more while saying his name. What do I think about Gann analysis and astronomer time price angle? Any idea or advice? I actually know somebody who's a pretty successful trader who puts a lot of weight into Gann and astronomy and all that stuff, all that woo-woo stuff, in my opinion. Although like that is not my field of expertise, I've delved into a little bit, so I have a basic understanding of it. But to sit here and try to tell you something that you probably know more about than me, I'd just be doing you a disservice. My areas of again, I've been trading. I've been trend trading for a long time now. I do have range trading strategies. I have counter trend trading strategies. I have an indicator that kind of picks out all that as well. But overall, I just trade with the trend, man, and I have simple if this then that strategy. And risk management. I pretty much, well, not pretty much, but I've used just about every strategy and system that you could think about. I fully understand Ichimoku, EMA, stochastic RSI, mean reversion. I traded mean reversion and Forex for a long time. And I've just, all that has culminated in the way that I've just very simply come to look at the markets, which is trade in the direction of the underlying trend and wait for confirmation. And pyramid end to winning positions. Eli, back. What's going on, man? All right, guys. It is 1:17. I need to take a 3-minute break. And when I come back, we're going to finish talking about EOS. And I'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at GoChain, man. And if I get a chance, I will look at one of those, brother. QNT or CHX. Checks for the checks mix. Checks. Check the mic. All right, guys. I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Gonna give away stuff when I get back. There we go. All right. Eli back. Thanks so much for the $5, my good friend. Thank you so much, brother. Remember, you are one of the good ones. Yes. We'll look at IOP. Let me just finish up with EOS real quick, my man. Okay. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with EOS. On the daily time frame, what are the levels that I'm looking at? Exactly the same thing, man. I'm looking to see the reaction that price has. If the daily candle closes like this, I'm really looking for, you can look for your confirmation. You can wait for the daily to close, and then you can look for price to start trading underneath that close to enter into a short. That is pretty much a confirmation that we have experienced the local top, and that you can basically use this range to determine how far price is going to go. Not getting a lot of indications on the daily time frame, except for a fairly long-term target. We can look for the SR flip. We can look for the SR flip around 7,400 Satoshis. We can also look for that 100 exponential to potentially act as support coming in around 72,000 Satoshis. Sorry. So, yeah, 74,000 Satoshis, 72,000 Satoshis. And then we'll just reevaluate from there. But definitely not overly excited to take a long on the daily chart. Going to be running smack dab into the 200-day exponential moving average. It's only 2% above us. And it's also at that psychological level, around 80,000 as well. 80,000 round psychological numbers. Traders really like to trade on round psychological numbers. And that's often why they get smacked in the face. Now, if we're able to get nicely above the 200 exponential moving average, we do have our next potential target at 82,000. That's our previous breakdown zone. That would be an SR flip, test of previous support, and also where the high volume node's coming in at. So we'll just wait into there. My personal opinion is that we do have a local top, and we'll reevaluate depending on what price does. If we go down to the 4-hour chart. Four-hour chart right now, you can also use this as a lead. We do see if we do start going down, this will be an SFP. You would have gotten an excellent entry here targeting the SFP trade right here. So an SFP is a swing failure pattern where price attempts to make a higher high, is unable to makes a higher high, but immediately rejects from that higher high. This is really the confirmation of an SFP. 4 hours still holding the 21 exponential moving average, so we haven't lost the 4-hour momentum. Hourly time frame, really haven't lost the hourly momentum yet either. So really, this is definitely going to be a counter trend trade if you're looking to establish a short here, which is something that I'm actually doing. But we'll just wait and see, man. All right. IOP. Yep, just what Rick D99 said, man. Yeah, so this is old analysis right here, man. IOP. We traded this back here. We had our entry zone. We had the breakout entry, hit our take profits, breakout entry stop loss. So this is all old stuff right here now. All right. I believe the last time we looked at IOP, my good man. Let's go ahead and hide stuff from the chart. I believe the last time we looked at IOP, not a whole lot has significantly changed. Okay, so weekly time frame for Mr. IOP. The Internet of People, guys. Still have a bearish, still in a bearish weekly trend. Let's see. Getting a little bit of a reaction. Did we get any kind of indication on the weekly time frame? No, we did not. We had hidden divergence here. We had regular divergence here, which gave us 2 weeks of upside. Gave us a potential 2% trade there. So really all we're doing right now is we're looking for a potential reaction off the bottom. Not so much a double bottom, potentially a double bottom on candle closing basis off the weekly. We got some pretty good we got some good resistance overhead, man. Still being governed by the 21 exponential. Haven't been able to get the weekly back above that. And we really haven't even been able to get significantly close to it, honestly. But we do use the exponentials not just as take profit levels or resistance levels. Those are actually their secondary purpose. Their primary purpose is to indicate what the trend is doing. When we see our exponentials go flat, then we know that we're not trending strongly anymore, and we look for accumulation or distribution, and we look for price reversals at those points in times. Weekly time frame still doing a lot of catching up to do. It's going to take a while for us to move sideways in this environment, I think. And you've got your first level of significant resistance coming up above you at 34.34 on the weekly time frame, which is still quite an attractive trade, honestly. That's about 15% to the upside. And you can manage your risk pretty well here. Again, just realize you're scraping the bottom, and that's your trend justification. So what I would do is I'd use something like ATR. Let's see here. And I'd probably go down to the weekly. Let's jack up our precision here. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely gonna have to use the weekly time frame for that, or excuse me, the daily time frame to manage risk effectively. Oh, sorry, let me adjust. Unless we do something like that. That might be a little bit better. Now let's see what levels we get. Yeah, still unacceptable. Yeah, still unacceptable. All right. Because 0.5 of the weekly ATR would actually be putting you a stop loss around 1611. And you'd have a take profit target of just one ATR, one weekly ATR over the last 15 days, 5604. So that's about 100% valuation to the upside. So let's go down to the 3-day chart. You know, I know that some people look at this stuff as, I know that some people look at formations like these as test pumps. I don't really like to think that way. Again, remember, when we approach support on low volatility, it's often not a sign that we're going to reverse. As you can see here on this 3-day chart, we approached support on high volatility and wicked immediately back up. So that was a sign that we could get support off of that level. And we did. Ended up going up another 20%. Obviously, we had a nice little pump and dump there on IOP. But here we've approached support on low volatility and low volume. No unnatural volume. The 3-day is coming down toward that oversold level, but not quite there yet. The 3-day also is not turning over yet, even though we are getting a little bit of a bullish reaction in general. But pretty much completely rejected, man. Let's go down, and we do have a bearish. Oh, you wicked mistress, you. Don't really like the way this is resizing. Now, yeah, I don't really like the way this. We do have a bullish. Let's actually, I'll show you guys here. Yeah, we had one brief respite of a bullish day and back to the bear side for Ikenashi. So that means I can't justify looking for a long position yet, man. I can't justify looking for a long position. Now, you know, you could by all rights set a tight stop below support and target your 21 exponential moving average if you want. That's absolutely fine. But you don't have any strong confirmations to be in a directional long position at this point in time. Just touching the bottom on low volatility doesn't really do it for me. But again, the trade is there if you so choose. So what we can do is let's look at regular ATR. Let's look at regular ATR and see if we can't try and establish some kind of acceptable risk management. ATR is 198 sats. So if we measure down 198 sats, it's going to give you a very wide stop loss. Not too bad though. All right, daily time frame, and I don't think your R's there because you're looking at 9% to the downside. And your first short-term target is only about 5% to the upside. So you definitely want to be managing that tide, or potentially going down to the hourly time frame. Let's go look at the hourly time frame. You do get a natural volume here and here, which would have put you in for a nice 2% trade. So based on all that, man, I wouldn't be taking it. But if I had to, I would manage my risk. 1 hourly ATR below the swing low, which is 35. So that's much more acceptable risk there. I'm much more fond of that. And I'd shoot for an hourly target right around here, man. That's the only thing I can see coming out of this. Is there a burning bush indicator that will just tell us exactly what to do? That's what I've designed time transformation to do. It's depending on your time frame and depending on how you follow the indicator, it does have a fairly high success rate based on backtesting, and not just TradingView backtesting, which repaints, but my own personal backtesting. Again, this is a strategy I've been following personally for a year. And the strategy is pretty simple. When the trend turns bullish, I enter into a trade. When a trade turns, when I get an oversold crossover, I enter into a trade with risk management with a fairly tight stop. I enter into trades on divergence. I exit trades when I see divergence. I exit trades when I get oversold conditions or start scaling out. I also exit trades when the trend flips to the bear side. So multiple ways to use the indicator. You can use it just for oversold, overbought, and ranging environments. I think the most powerful comes in following the trend, and it visually paints that trend for you while you're looking at Japanese candlesticks. I am having some issues with it in V3, though, because like I said, I did update it to V3. But that's what it's been designed to do. Again, any trading strategy is going to have limitations and drawdowns, and you need to be aware of that trading strategy and methodology. And the drawdown and errors in time transformation is fully included in the reference manual. But no, not really, man. There's not. There's lots of strategies out there that have been encoded into Pine, and will tell you what to do to buy and sell. But you have to have a psychological understanding of what logic is underpinning that strategy. So that's why with time transformation, you get a nice reference manual to explain how it works. And again, that should be, if I can figure out the issue with V3, then that'll be released by the end of this week to the premium subscribers. If I can't figure it out, I'm going to have to roll it back to V2, and it'll have all the same functionality, but it just won't be as pretty as code. I have to go back to my sloppy V2 code. And it's not sloppy. It's just V3 is a little cleaner than V2, you know. It allows me to do more with less. How will the BTT airdrop affect the market? I would assume that the price of BTT would go down. All right, we'll look at Go. So thanks, Eli. Hopefully that's helpful, brother. All right. Weekly time frame for Mr. Go Chain. Yeah, see, I'm already seeing, I already saw the issues. Let's just disable that. That's the issue that I'm having, how it repaints bars pursuant to Heikinashi. It's something with the Boolean logic, man. Okay, so Go chain on the weekly time frame, still quite bearish. No reason to, we're not, entering into a bullish trend or anything like that. No surprises there. 3-day time frame. Now you can see here that I did have, this is an old chart of Go chain. But we did have right here an initial entry zone just based off previous horizontal support and resistance. So let's close Quadrigo down and minimize ATR and bring time transformation down just a little bit. You did get an indication to buy on the 3-day right here, which is set you up for this nice trade right here. Depending on where you bought in this, obviously you get the buy signal here. You get another crossover here. And if you just exit when the daily flips, you would have had about 4 to 7%, although you could have been targeting the 21 exponential moving average as your take profit target, or any of these red lines, just based off. These are based off, obviously, previous liquidity zones and horizontal support and resistance. So flattening out the last 2-3 days, just absolutely flat down there at the bottom. Sometimes when we see that again, kind of the same thing as I talked about when we approach support on high volatility, we often don't expect for support to hold. But when we do see a little bit of consolidation at lower levels, we do expect price to be entering into accumulation. So we do kind of try to hold ourselves open to that. Now, the daily did give you a buy signal on the 6th of February 2019 right here at around 500 Satoshis. You had yourself set up for about a 5 to 6 to 7% trade. Price is pretty much back at entry right now. Kind of got to wait to see how the daily closes to see if you get another reaction. So overall, just the entrance in this area, and we're talking about managing risk. So we do look at ATR on the daily, for example, 34 sats on the daily. So 34 sats on the daily gives us a daily stop loss around 452. It actually should be 452 because I couldn't measure that well. Yeah, managing risk around 452, daily closure below that level. You could be a little bit more brazen and measure from these swing lows as well. It all depends on your risk appetite for the stop loss for entry in this zone. Or you can be less aggressive and actually measure 34 sats from the median zone here, which would actually have already gotten you stopped out. So, daily chart, like I said, gave you the buy here, but we're about to get a fresh cross under. We had unnatural volume on the high candle, which would lead me to think that the support will not hold, and we're probably looking at lower targets. So if I was in Go Chain right now, I would not be in it any longer. It does look like just a failed bounce from support. Again, as I said, when we approach support on low momentum and low volatility, often we do not end up reacting volatilely from it. But all the indications, we're here to get it to have a scalp trade, to have a trade. I mean, you don't know how strong the trade's going to be. All you can do is infer. But you get a hammer candle here on the daily. Next, you get a bullish crossover on the next candle, and you get an hourly trade. So you had a 2-day trade there. You had depending on where you entered here, you had a 2-day trade. Not too bad. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart. Yeah, 4-hour gave you the buy signal pretty much right at the bottom. Now what we can do is, since we're in a bear market, we do want to make sure that we are adjusting our overbought levels right here. So overbought, we want to change this to like 1, say per se. Yeah, there you go. So overbought, we buy signal here, sell signal here, sell signal here. By manually adjusting that, although you can see that the indicator does flash purple to give you indications that you should potentially be out of your trade. And actually, you can see here that you did get hidden divergence right here on this candle and regular divergence on this candle. So and hidden divergence on this candle. So again, I take buys based off of oversold, overbought. Look for trend reversal, price reversal. So as we can see here, if we flip to Heikinashi, we would have taken, and Heikinashi also works very, very, very well with this indicator as well. So buys here and sells here and here. A little dollar cost averaging happening on here. That's why you do have to use risk management. And I recommend using ATR for that on the time frame that you're trading. Buys here, sells here and here. This bad boy had you out at all the tops. If only you could short Go chain. Buy here, sell here. Buy here. You'd have lost a little bit on that one. Anyways, that's enough about me waxing loquaciously about my indicator. Four-hour Heikinashi says we might be able to see another little bit of a bounce, but this looks more like looks more like an M topping formation to me, rather than necessarily accumulation. Four-hour chart looks okay, but we're already hitting that 21 exponential moving average resistance. You can take the trade if you want to, but just keep in mind that, I mean, your highest possible in the current time frame, I think your highest possible target would be 532, and you'd want to be managing risk fairly tightly. I think below here, actually. I think if you close the 4-hour below here, you're going to go lower, and that's going to confirm the 24-hour and the 3-day, which looks quite bearish. So Litecoin price didn't go up because of Mimblewimble news, but BTT will go down because of the airdrop news. Contradictive, I think. Well, you're free to your opinion, man, but see, BTT airdrop is not news. It's actually people that did not previously have BTT receiving BTT for free, and they're likely to sell it. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's possible that they all decide to hold, but a fresh influx of BTT entering Binance would seem to suggest that they will likely sell at these elevated prices. So I would not want to be holding BTT. Again, and that's just my personal strategy. When there's an airdrop or a hard fork or any kind of thing like that, I buy the rumor and sell the news. I always sell anywhere from 2 to 3 days prior to the actual event. So I was looking. I actually had a buy signal for the premium members from 19 to 22 on BTT. Anybody that had a buy order set at 22 to 19 would have gotten a partial fill at 22, and they had about a 15% profit opportunity. So. Hey, thanks, Jay Constant. I appreciate it, man. Why do you use small EMA? Why not 50, 100, or 200? I use all four, man. I use the 21, the 55, the 100, and the 200. Those are the EMAs I use. The average true range indicator is going to give you an indication of how volatile price is or what the average range is. So I typically like to set a stop loss 1 ATR below the swing low. So you just pull open ATR, click your settings. You're going to get an indicator that looks like this. It's going to tell you how volatile price is in general. So this has a look back period of about 14 days. You don't really need to adjust any of the settings. I find that this works quite well. You can play around with it, of course, if you can. Make sure you set your precision to 8 so that you can actually look at altcoins. And then you can open up your data window and you'll actually see what the value is right here. So we see here that for GoChain on the 24-hour chart, ATR is 34 sats. So I'm just going 34 sats from the swing low. Well, guys, I got to wrap it up a little early today. I apologize. My daughter's waking up from her nap, and there's no babysitter today, so gonna have to go ahead and jet out of here, guys. Fatherhood calls. Joys of being a single dad, self-employed. All right, guys. Anyways, thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you thank you so much for your support. I highly appreciate it, man. Not at all, man. Rick D99, thanks for the support, man. Thank you so much for watching the channel. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Let me wrap up real quick just by talking about, of course, the news, the glorious, the greatness, the awesomeness. That is, the giveaway, guys. Make sure to go on over to krakencryptocurrency.com. We are giving away 3 spots for free, 1-month memberships to the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. Simply go to krakencryptocurrency.com. You're going to see a big pop-up. You click it. It's going to take you right here. You can enter with any of your existing social media accounts. You don't need to register a new account or any whack-noodle stuff like that. You can use your Discord, your YouTube, your Twitter, your Twitch, your Instagram, your Facebook. They've got Discus on here. I don't even know what that is, but you can use it to log in. It's all good, guys. Or you can just log in using your existing email, Google, Facebook, whatever. Cool. You get points for following us on YouTube, for subscribing to us on YouTube, for following us on Twitch, for joining our Discord, for following us on Twitter, all that cool fun stuff, guys. You can even get extra points for virally sharing the competition with your friends and loved ones. So make sure to tell your friends, tell your family, tell people you don't even like. It's all good, man. Just trying to get the exposure out there, guys. So anyways, but you'll get access to all the Kraken cryptocurrency trade signals and setups. You'll get access to our members lounge, chat room, and day trading voice chat channel. The resource library database, the webinar series, the mentoring and education that comes along with being a member of the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Team, and your own personal trade journal as well. Yes, I did look at EOS, my good dude, and I actually am in a short, man. Ooh, nice, dude. It's all good, Rick. It's all good, Rick. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because we are here live every day for a breaking Bitcoin market update. As well, if you want to support the show, make sure you head on over to twitch.tv/KrakenCrypto. Give us a follow or a subscribe on there. Really appreciate it. Obviously, it helps us keep the lights on. A lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, guys. We are developing a lot of stuff, obviously working on brand new indicators and strategies, improving the Discord website integration, and designing our automatic trading bot as well for our subscribers, as well as constantly coming out with new stuff. And there's a lot of production that goes into our webinars, so we do appreciate the support, guys. You can also hit up our Patreon or purchase some merch from the store. You guys can get a Kraken Cryptocurrency coffee mug that I have been told by scientists improves your trading efficiency by 85%, guys. So that's all available on the website. If you would like to join the trading group with no strings barred, without having to wait for a competition, of course, you can find the information for that at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com, or the link is in the description down below. Please make sure to leave any comments, questions, concerns, sarcastic remarks, tips, tricks, or death threats. Leave them in the comments section down below, guys. We'd love to get a hold of you. And make sure to, guys, that you keep the conversation going in the Discord. It's as much about the conversation as it is about the TA, guys. So head on over to discord.krakencryptocurrency.com, guys, and we'll see you in there, man. I'm pretty active in there. So all right, guys, that's all for me today. Of course, I've been Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at krakencryptocurrency.com. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show, and hopefully today has helped crack a cryptocurrency for you. And until tomorrow, guys, trade safe and peace out.